Hello and welcome to Design Basics. In this video, we're going to talk about the Revolve feature. So the way this works is we're going to do a 2D sketch just like last time to start off with, and we're going to choose a plane. Next, we're going to make a rectangle. Now the next part here is a new constraint called the Coincident constraint. So the way that this constraint works is you're going to basically choose a point and make it coincident to a line, a curve, or in this example, a point. So we're going to find the center point of this line here and the center point of the model. And now that this is centered, we can now dimension this. So I want this to be 4.5 inches tall. Actually, let's make it 4 inches tall. And I want this to be 3 inches in diameter. So there's two ways of doing this. The first is taking this dimension here and saying 3 divided by 2, and that is 1.5 inches because you're revolving it about this center. But the easier way of doing that is taking the line that you're going to revolve around and changing it to a center line. Now this is going to be entirely dependent on the software you have. Both ways work, but again, see the capability of your software and see if it works. Now that I have that done, I can go and dimension this, and you can see it'll automatically know it's 3 inches in diameter. But if I wanted to change it, I can, but of course, I'm going to leave it at 3. Now that that's done, we can go finish sketch, or if you know the hotkey, for instance, mine is R for revolve, I can press it now, but we're going to go finish sketch and go to the revolve feature. So now that we're here, you can see that we have some options. The first thing you can see is the extents. The extents of this means, is it going to be a full, an angle? So we could actually make this, let's say 150 degrees. You can do 2, but you need another piece of a model to do that with. And between, again, you'd need a model for that. And that is more intermediate. So we're just going to stick with full for this first part. Now that that's done, what we can do is now do a new sketch on a new plane. We're going to go to view if you have that capability, and we're going to do slice graphics, and this lets you see the model on the plane that you're doing. I also use the hotkey F7 to do this. Again, depends on your software. The next thing we're going to do is project geometry. Some software will also let you do project cut geometry, which is the same thing, but it just chooses all the edges for you in one shot. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little bit more complex, but not that crazy. We're going to make a line, another line, like this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make a circle. And delete this middle line. So we're going to make a bit of a curve into this. So we're going to use a new feature called Tangent. Tangent will allow you to have a curve be tangential to a curve, or a curve tangential to a line. So if I press this curve here, and this line, you see that they're now constrained together. And I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. Next, we're going to use the horizontal constraint, which we talked about last video. Actually, it looks like we'll have to use the vertical constraint. So you usually can see where the lines are. And now that those are fully constrained, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some more features called extend to extend the line to the circle. And then I'm going to use the trim feature to cut away the arc. So now that we have that figured out, what we're going to do next is we're going to dimension this feature here to be about 0.625, which is 5/8 on both sides. So one thing to note is when you're dimensioning something, if you want both sides to be equal, I can click this dimension here because I have the dimension box down here. It'll make it equal to that dimension. So now if I want to change this to 0.75 at the top, the bottom will change as well. This just helps you save time. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension this here to here. I'm going to say it's going to be 1 inch. The last thing I'm going to do is going to dimension this here at 1/2 inch. And it looks like it's still not constrained. And that's because the constraint we had from here to here wasn't done. There we go. So now that we have this piece here, the last thing we're going to have to do is make one more line from here to here. And this makes this geometry in here fully enclosed, because this is the part I want to cut away. So now what we're going to do is create one more line to here, and this line is going to allow us to revolve cut it. So I'm going to change this to a center line, finish sketch, and now we're going to choose the revolve feature. We're then going to choose the geometry we want. This time we have to choose an axis point. That's why I made that line here. And then we're going to choose the cut feature. So now you can see it's cutting away material that we wanted to cut away. So if I press OK, we now have something that looks a little bit more unique. Now, to be fair, I could have revolved this without doing the revolve cut, but then I wouldn't have been able to show you that feature. So that is the 2 ways of using a revolve feature. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, this is Tyler with 3D Printer Store, and I hope you have a great day.